We'll give the votes some time to get in. Oh man. Man, yeah, you making me. I left my drink over there on my chair.
You know, better go get that thing. This is after hours now.
I know. I'll get it in a sec. I ain't drinking though.
Yeah, this ain't. Hey, we grown. This is not a drink for real.
You got a Corona.
Yeah, it's a Corona, bro.
That's barbecue. That's PG. That's PG-13 now.
100%.
Kid got some radar in the cabinet in his kitchen somewhere.
I got some Modelo out there. I got Wolfer Reserve. That stuff just be sitting there, bro.
I can't do the Wolfer on a weekday.
Nah, I'll be waiting till the weekend. Even then, I don't.
I'm about to say that's only between Friday night and Saturday night.
Yep. Nope. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get ready. This is yeah, this is the right one, right show.
Yeah. You good?
You tapped into that Wolfer Reserve already?
Oh, man.
Oh, this is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Beans. Joining me on the show, we have Nick, FIFO, and Shelton. What up?
What up?
We thought Manny was going to join us. He said he didn't want to get on here and talk about the goofy team. So it may be a no-show for him. But and we all know why. The Jets just got as B said on Is the Milestone, shellacked by the 49ers on Monday Night Football. It wasn't a good debut for Aaron Rodgers in a full complete game with all the weapons, with Brees Hall there, Garrett Wilson there, Allen Lazard there. But unfortunately, the coach, Robert Saleh, is there as well. So this is what you got. I think they said he was 18-34 over the last couple of years. So, yeah, man, just overall thoughts on what you guys saw tonight.
Saw a couple things, Ken. I actually took some notes. You know what I'm saying? I actually took some notes. There's a couple of things, and I want to address some of the things that you said too. Robert Saleh's record is not 100% Robert Saleh's fault. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback situation has been shaky at best, right? We know that what happened with Aaron Rodgers last year. Finally, he's healthy now. This was their first full game. And they added some things. But the biggest question mark still persists. That O-line is suspect. They don't have, and obviously the front seven for the 49ers is one of the best in football. So this was going to be a good test to see where they were. And they aren't where they need to be a true contender. Now, can they make the playoffs? Possibly, because Aaron Rodgers is still that good. And that opening drive, we saw it. You know what I'm saying? I put in a meme that Aaron Rodgers looks surgical. You know what I'm saying? But that's just based off of talent and experience. But as the game wore on, you saw that the more physical 49ers just dominated them on both trenches. Not only, with the O-line that the Jets have, but their D-line and that front side. We know what Quentin Williams is, so I'm not putting nothing on him. But they don't have enough pass rush, which is why they went to go get Asai Riddick. He's still holding out. So hopefully they figure that out. But they need a pass rush because that defense is extremely solid. Obviously, Sauce did what Sauce does, but they need an extra guy to put more pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They didn't have that. The 49ers settled for a lot of field goals, but it's week one. And 6 of them, to be exact. They settled, but it's week one. But I think the biggest thing I took away when you look at both of the offenses for the 49ers and for the Jets, the 49ers are creative. The 49ers and Kyle Shanahan creates what I said about the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The gimme plays. I'm going to scheme you open. Purdy, you don't even worry about reading. This guy's going to be open right here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give you a couple of those throughout the game, and you saw that was a difference. Just the creativity between Nathaniel Hackett and Kyle Shanahan, night and day. night and day. So I think that the Jets are going to struggle throughout this season, especially when they can get manhandled up front offensively and defensively. 49ers are going to be fine. 49ers should, at bare minimum, be again at the NFC Championship game. This team looks like, obviously not in midseason form, but they're further along because of continuity than most teams that we saw week one.
This game boils down to something quite simple. I give you the numbers of 68 to 180, and that's rushing yards. And you did that with your backup running back. And that, more than anything, man, they pushed that rock straight at Quentin Williams and that defensive line and ran right through them like they were shredded cheese. It just right through them. And that offensive line for San Francisco is decent. But more than anything, they play great team football and push that rock. And that was the difference in the game, because Brock Purdy didn't do anything special. He hit open receivers when he had to, but he was 19 to 29, no TDs, no interceptions. He just didn't turn the ball over. And they did not get the pass rush that they're used to getting. So that game was won in the trenches quite clearly. That you're right, people, that first drive was a nice drive by Aaron Rodgers. But after that, that defense stepped up and wasn't giving up nothing else. And it was over after that. You did see 6 field goals. They kept them out of the end zone, but overall, it was just a horrible effort, and the Jets were the Jets.
Yeah, but Shelton, I think the 6 field goals, that was more San Fran than it was the Jets. It was like, okay, we're not going to press the pedal. We got here. Let's just get our points. Let's go back and just be a solid football team. You know what I'm saying? They weren't hyper aggressive, but I do feel, by week 2, week 3, the majority of these teams will be lathered up. The aggression will come out, and we'll see a different 49ers team moving forward. But they were reserved for the most part.
First of all, people, pause to what you just said. Second of all, I
would
say that I wouldn't say it was like the 49ers just let themselves kick field goals. Like, they did go 3 and out those trips. So it's like they put the Jets put the ball in their hands as far as they wanted to go for.
They didn't go 3 and out. They had 8 straight scoring drives.
No, I'm talking about not 3 and out, but just more so like they're not getting touched. They're not getting to the end zone. Like the Jets defense did hold them to the point where like they had to settle for field goals, regardless if you think you've been more aggressive or not. They didn't. So
there was that 4th and 1 where they made the Jets use a timeout that they could have went for. You know what I'm saying? But then after they used the timeout, they said, okay, we'll just kick it.
And now you dropped the touchdown.
And now you dropped the touchdown. So, again, that's more so 49ers than the Jets taking it away from them.
No, I'm saying the Jets defense wasn't that bad. It wasn't. To me, like, this game was more about this game to me was more about team chemistry than actual talent for talent. Because you could tell the 49ers have been playing with this core has played with each other for a long time. And you could see the Jets are like, these are all new pieces kind of still trying to figure themselves out. Like, this is the first time we're literally seeing Aaron Rodgers throw to Garrett Wilson. You know what I'm saying? I think he changed numbers between the time that he signed there to where he is now. So it's like, I could see that Breece Hall, like he's just now really getting back comfortable off of his injuries and stuff like that. So, It just felt like a early preseason game between the starters. But, I mean, of course, you got to give credit to the 49ers for getting the win and being dominant with the run. I mean, but that's just what they do. They run the ball. So I'm not really surprised that they were really leaning that heavy. I was just more surprised that Purdy wasn't, like you said, Sheldon, he didn't do shit. I mean, honestly, because you could have put the backup in to do what Purdy did, honestly, because I'm talking about as far as just like saying like don't fuck up the game, but you ain't got to win the game either. Like, I don't think this game was ever like outside of the first quarter, was this game ever really like in trouble of like the Jets coming back and doing stuff? No, the defense was strong because they played. They're a strong unit. They've been together. They've been to Super Bowls together, and the offensive line got their best player back in Trent Williams, and they just ran it down the throat. That's how you want to do it to start off the season. Like, that's the best way. If you see most of the teams that won on Sunday, it was because of good defense and running the football.
That's what you're done.
Go ahead.
I got a question. So when the game started, were you guys concerned when you found out that Christian McCaffrey wasn't going to play?
Nah.
I was more shocked to see like what's going on with Christian McCaffrey. Like it was looking like he was good to go. So what happened? Like did he fuck up? Like did some shit happen to him? I wasn't really worried about the game.
In terms of the outcome, who did you pick? Did you pick the Niners?
I picked the Jets. I picked the Jets to win just because I can't stand the 49ers. But I wasn't really like, I was more worried about like how is McCaffrey going to be for the rest of the season? Like, is he hurt now? More so than like, oh, this game is in jeopardy. The Jets definitely gonna win.
To me, I looked at it as week 1. Why like if this was week 16, 17 and they're jockeying for position, you know what I'm saying, to get home field throughout the playoffs, he would have played. But week 1, it's like what's the point? And the other thing too is this, that Jets O line, in the past game they were okay, right? Because Aaron Rodgers is quick release and his experience will allow him to get the ball out quick. So in the past game, they don't have to hold up that long. Aaron Rodgers helps him out in that way. But we saw it in the run game. When they needed to get the short yardage situations, Breece Hall was running into the back of his old lineman because they got no push. They got no push. So they got to get better and more physical.
It's chemistry. That's what all O-lines are all like. That's like you mentioned, people. That's a patchwork, not patchwork, but like those are all new players, new team, new system. They're all trying to get familiar with each other, and it just looks sloppy. As you can see, like you said, like he running into his own guys, which is pushing them back 2 yards.
Yeah, well, I do agree that. Hold on, real quick, Shante. I do agree that it is partly chemistry, but it's also partly physicality, and because we know it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. It's 3rd and short. We got to go we just got to move these guys. This guy in front of me, move him back a yard or 2, and they wasn't able to do that.
Part of the problem too, FIFA, is Breece Hall is not that kind of back, so I wouldn't expect him to get those tough yards. It's good to have a backup that's going to be a stronger back, so you got to kind of have that thunder and lightning type situation. You're right though. He did run in the back of the lineman. That line is still not where it needs to be for the Jets. The Jets got a lot of work to do. But to answer your question, Ken, I was worried about the 49ers at the beginning because Ayuk was coming back. He hadn't practiced all that much. George Kittle has not been the same George Kittle for a while, so he's not that big of a difference maker. So I was wondering, how Mason was going to hold up pushing the rock. Who knew he'd have ran the way he did? I know I didn't. I bet against it tonight. I quickly put in a bunch of bets and lost. I lost.
I'm never worried about their run game. I just thought this was going to be more of a shootout. I just thought that Rodgers was going to actually, because I don't trust the 49ers corners like or secondary like that, as most people, especially when you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. But it just seemed like, again, it just the offense just looked really conservative in the first half. Like they weren't trying to make mistakes. It looked like they were kind of trauma ridden with how the first game of the last season was. They didn't want Rodgers to do too much. That's why they kept on trying to really run the ball more heavily than I wish that I thought they would. And then in the second half, when they realized they were down by hella, that's when they're like, all right, we got to throw the ball. But like, obviously time of possession became key because they kept doing 3 and outs. And then the 49ers just kept running the ball all the way down the field, taking up all that clock. So it's just like, by the time Rodgers got back, I don't know, how many possessions did he have? Did he have about less than 10, it seemed like?
They had the ball twice as long, San Francisco did. Yeah,
so it just was crazy. It was just weird. But I was expecting more of a aerial attack with Rodgers picking apart the 49ers secondary.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that question is because all I used to hear or was hearing last year especially was that Christian McCaffrey this, Christian McCaffrey that. Without Christian McCaffrey, this team ain't shit. I heard that a lot. So when Christian McCaffrey was out, I was just wondering what was the level of concern because it seemed like Purdy needed Christian McCaffrey to be effective. And I guess it's been proven that he doesn't really need that.
For a game. I mean,
we'll see how long it lasts, but this was the first.
Jordan Mason rushed for 150 yards, so he still needed that production, and he got that plus some. So he still got it. It just was a different person that was giving it to him. That 150 yards was the difference in the game, regardless of how they stacked up.
So, and that's why when people were talking about like hyping up Christian McCaffrey, and they were doing that tonight on the telecast, I was like, well, when Jimmy G was back there, they were running the ball very effectively like that. It's the back don't really matter. What Christian McCaffrey does is it allows them to be a little bit more creative because he can do so many different things on the offense. But Shanahan can scheme together a really good run game.
True, Ken, but the difference, and I talked about this, right? Like the 49ers settle for field goals. With Christian McCaffrey, one or two of those possessions ends in touchdown. That's the difference.
With them
You know
running
what I'm
the
saying?
ball right? Is that what you're
Regardless
saying?
what I'm saying is with Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, now you can have more plays with Christian going out of the backfield into catching, you know what I'm saying, or running. But we know that Christian McCaffrey is a home run hitter. So the
Right.
difference, so you're 100% right in a sense that those 150 yards rushing, that is a byproduct of the scheme. Scoring a touchdown is the difference between who was running the ball and Christian McCaffrey. That's the difference.
So you're telling me it would have been more of a blowout than what it was tonight?
Oh, 100%.
Because they put up 32
100%.
points off field goal.
The only reason I don't know about that is because of the fact that you go for those bigger plays. What they did with Mason is a little different than what they would have done with Christian McCaffrey. And the way he ran the ball was what they needed tonight. You control the clock, and he ran the ball like a power back, and that's what it worked against this Jets defense that over pursues. So it worked tremendously in their favor. Plus, everybody was blocking. It just looked like they were just ready and prepared for this game tonight. They had home field advantage and time of possession advantage, and it just showed.
Look, we're talking about the best.
And the goofy ass turnovers too. Like the Niners made some plays off of just some tip balls and
But we talk about the best running back in the league, right? Like the running back that catches the best out of the backfield, doesn't necessarily run between the tackles the best, but is arguably one of the most dynamic running backs out of the backfield in regards of what you're asking him to do. So to me, does the outcome of the game change? No, with or without Christian. Ken, this is part of the reason why we question Brock Purdy so much. It's like, how much do you have to do for this team to be successful? And what is your value? You know what I'm saying? Because with Christian, you can win. Without Christian, you can win. As long as you have certain key factors, Trent Williams, you have Debo or Ayuk, you know, you have certain guys that's part of that core. As long as they're there and Kyle Shanahan does what he does, you're going to be in position to win the majority of your games.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the continuity that Nick was talking about. So, Kyle Shanahan is very familiar with this team. So regardless of who's on the field to a certain degree, he knows how to coach them up. They all know how to execute because they've been there for a while. But it took them a while to find their stride. I mean, when the game opened up, both teams were sloppy. Purdy was missing. On the Jet side, you had Lazard drop a pass, and Aaron Rodgers didn't throw to him at all the rest of the game until later on, like the third or fourth quarter late. And but the Jets had a great drive, and then it stalled from there. And the Niners looked slow and sloppy early on in the game, but then they started to find a rhythm with the run game. Jordan Mason was running the ball effective. I think Purdy didn't have to do much because the game didn't dictate for him to do much. I think a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of players and coaches would love to play a game like that. But he made throws when he needed to, and then Ayuk dropped the touchdown, but he converted when he needed to. He hit wide open guys when they were needed to. It was like 2 or 3 guys wide the fuck open because the Jets defense, I don't know what they were doing. He missed some throws here there, but that happens. Aaron Rodgers did the same thing.
Week one.
Week
one.
That's where I want to get to the conversation. Like, what do you think this game said about both teams? Because for me, again, while I picked the Jets mostly because I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to come out throwing it down the field and like how he did somewhat in the second half. But since that didn't happen, if you want to play a run game defensive battle, of course you're gonna go with the team who got the better running game and the better overall defense. But what do y'all think this is like? Does this game dictate anything which y'all see move forward for both teams?
Yeah, because well, first off, I want to say this. Throughout the course of week one, we've seen a lot of sloppiness. We saw that in this game as well. With the shortened preseason and teams not playing their guys primarily in preseason, we're going to see the first 2 to 3 weeks of sloppy football. Then we'll get to, what we expect out of these teams. Now, between these two teams, I don't think much is going to change. We know what the 49ers are. We know that from top to bottom, they're a top 3 roster with an amazing play designer and play caller. So they're going to make a deep playoff run just like they have the last 2 to 3 to 5 years. Since Kyle Shanahan has been there, they've been knocking on the door of a Super Bowl. That's going to be the expectation and what they're going to be doing this year again. With the Jets, when they face opponents that can manhandle them, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. But when they play against teams like the Dolphins that are in their division, when they play teams that are a little bit more finesse and not as much grit, they can beat those teams. But when it comes down to it, they're weak in the trenches, offensively and defensively, and that's where they're going to lose.
I think it'll be tougher for them in general. I think the Jets are still the Jets. I don't see many weapons outside of Wilson and Breece Hall catching fire. If Breece Hall is contained, you can beat this team. I don't really worry about Lazard like that. Conklin did nothing. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. He can still make plays at certain times, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers can carry this team for a season. I don't think it's anywhere near what everybody is thinking this team is going to be. I just don't see it.
I disagree. I think this is I just saw like the ESPN IG page post that last year it took the Jets till week 5 to score in the first quarter, and they just did that opening night. So I think it's going to be a lot different offensively this season than last season, and I think that was the biggest key for it because I think the defense is going to get a rhythm. I think this offense will get a rhythm, especially since it has all its pieces. I think by like week 6, week 7, I wish this matchup would have happened around that time so we can kind of get a real test to see like, all right, it's been over a month. It's been more than, one game, fresh out of preseason. Let's see what this team really looks like stacked up against each other. But, I have a lot more faith in the Jets. And I think the 49ers, I'll be more curious to see Brock Purdy's, what he looks like by week 6, more so as far as like, this is his contract year. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is a big year for him. And if he keeps performing like how he did, then he's going to get paid more than Dak. You know what I'm saying? But right now, a game where he was like, goose egg on both sides, y'all, granted he didn't need to do much like y'all mentioned, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, it's okay game for Brock Purdy. Not really a phenomenal game or even a standout game. However,
but that's the reason why he's not going to get more money than Dak, Nick.
No,
I don't understand.
He has to, though.
He's not.
No, he has to.
No, he won't.
No.
You can't justify Jordan Love getting paid $200-something for only 8 games and then tell me that Brock Purdy is not going to get 60 plus.
But Jordan Love
for that franchise.
Jordan Love isn't making more than Dak Prescott.
No,
Jordan Love is not making more than Dak Prescott, and Purdy's not going to make more than
quarterbacks. But quarterbacks, top.
I understand that.
You also have to look at value to your team and where you weigh on that scale. If you're not the most important piece to your team, you're not going to get that kind of money.
You don't think Brock?
You had no choice.
You don't think Brock Purdy? You don't think Brock Purdy's top 3, like when it comes to valuable piece on this team?
Nick,
top 3, but he's not 1. Dak is 1, 2, and 3.
Who's number 1 on this? Who's the number 1 for the
on the 49ers?
Yeah,
it's still going to be CMC for them. For them to make a championship run, you got to have.
I wouldn't say CMC's no. I say Trent Williams is 1, and then at that point, you would probably have to say Brock Purdy or somebody. Maybe
CMC is more important than Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
CMC is more important than Brock
Purdy. We just watched the whole game.
No,
they didn't lose a beat with CMC.
We're talking about winning the Super Bowl. You don't want to go a long stretch without CMC.
We saw that just a few months ago, a Super Bowl with CMC and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy led them down with the lead when he got off the field in the Super Bowl, and then the defense shit the bed to lose it.
Nick, here's the thing.
Nick, hold on, FIFA. We saw PJ Walker beat the Bengals but that don't mean that they're a better team.
We're talking about super. We're talking
you
about.
Gotta take
That's
it,
you
you
over
gotta
here
take
bringing
it.
that doesn't mean
I'm bringing.
anything to me.
No, right. That's what I'm saying.
We're talking
So
about
him,
PJ Walker's nowhere near getting paid as much money as Brock Purdy. So that's not even a part of this conversation.
No, what I use that example to show you that you can't you got to look the whole season in his value in that length. If you take CMC off this team, they're not going back to the Super Bowl. It's that simple. It's a totally different team. So you can't say, well, they won this game without him, or they did good.
If you take Brock Purdy,
they needed him.
If you take Brock Purdy off, if they try to replace Brock Purdy, so you think they're more likely going to try to replace Brock Purdy than pay him?
No, Nick, listen. They're going to pay Brock Purdy. They're not going to pay him Dak money.
What if he presses?
That's as simple as that.
What if he presses the issue?
Then, like I said on Tuesday, go and find me a team that's willing to pay you that, which there's not going to be, and then you're going to settle on the contract that we negotiate.
Yeah,
well, it's as simple as that.
I didn't want this to be a Brock Purdy.
No, I got you.
All I'm saying is that this is a big year for Brock Purdy.
Nick, 100%. He'll be a top 5 paid quarterback, top 7 paid. He's not going to be number 1.
He's not going to be number 1.
He's going to be top 3 at least.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Well, either way, I think it'll be hard for. I don't know what the number will be. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards. I don't know if they're going to pay him over $60 million. But what I will say, just looking at him play, he knows that system. Like,
yeah, he does.
In and out. He knows all his reads. He knows his second and third. Any quarterback, y'all talk about Shador and how great he is, but he struggled when guys get in his face. Brady struggled when guys got in his face. He lost 2 Super Bowls with it. So pressure is always a kryptonite for a quarterback. And time is always a quarterback's best friend. So, but he knows the system, and I think that's important for the 49ers. So, and that's what I was looking at tonight. Yeah, he wasn't spectacular and he didn't need to go up and down the field, but I think he has proven in big-time situations that he can go and win football games. He did it in the playoffs multiple times. He gave them a lead in the fucking Super Bowl. So he has things that he can do. And I think that that's what they'll look at when they evaluate him. Now, moving forward, looking at the Niners, you always want your best or one of the best players in the game on the field. And you'll always need them. And I think without CMC, it would limit what they can do. And we've seen Jordan Mason, he's able to run the ball against this Jets defense, which was supposed to be good, but maybe they're not really are that good. And maybe he run up against a more stout defense, what's going to happen with this team. But we saw them kind of week one rust or whatever. Ayuk missed the easy throw. Debo, if he keep doing that shit, I don't think he's going to last the rest of the whole season. And the defense was slow. So I think they'll pick it up. And I think Shanahan will find ways to manage the game without CMC. As for the Jets, there's potential there. I think there's a lot of potential there, actually. I think what we saw when he was throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson and the way he got Breece Hall involved, they found a way to keep that going, bro. It looked really good with Aaron Rodgers' veteran play. It's just play calling. And, yeah, you may have one great drive, but you got to build on that. And they were not able to sustain that throughout the course of the game and get into other different type of plays for them. And we also saw guys dropping the ball. Breece Hall dropped the ball.
Yep.
So, it's a lot of things that by week 4, week 5, they should improve on.
Ken, I feel you. And everything you said is 100% right. Where I disagree with you is the fact that we saw, and I talked about this already, is the creativity, right? To me, the greatest teams with the greatest quarterbacks and the ones that are truly championship contenders, you give your quarterback and your offense gimme plays and you set them up, right? Not only just the creativity, but your play call. Pat Mahomes just had a conversation with Phil Simms, not Phil Simms. Who's his son? that works for Fox? I can't remember. You know I'm bad with names.
Chris Sims?
Chris Sims. He just sat down with Chris Sims a couple of weeks ago, right before the start of the season. And he talked about, Mahomes was talking about how he knows the play call that Andy Reid is about to call because of the calls that you've made. So we're setting this up. So at some point in time, I know we're going to get to this play, and then everybody gets excited because we know that we're about to score right here, or we know we're going to get a big play. When you watch the Jets play call and the play design, they don't have that, Ken.
Who's the offensive coordinator for the Jets?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Is it still Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah.
I did hear his name.
As long as A-Rod is there, Nathaniel Hackett is going to be there. Yeah. So when I watched this game and I saw the creativity, it's not there. The reason why they were able to move the rock is because of A-Rod and the greatness of A-Rod. Yeah, and here's the thing, Ken. You like A-Rod is still a top 10 quarterback in this league. You can still win a lot of games doing this. But guess what happens when you get up against the Ravens defense? you know, some of the plays you're not going to happen. Guess what happens when you get in a shootout with Kansas City, right? And Mahomes has 5 gimme plays. And A-Rod has to manufacture all of these. It's not sustainable.
And that's why I feel like it's interesting to have Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator in this year for Robert Saleh to keep that going. Just for the fact of I know that Rodgers fuck with him, but to your point, play calling, like you could have got some college coach or some other young guy who was like, bruh, just come on our staff, just be in the same room and hack it, and y'all come up with some schemes. Because, like you mentioned, Ken, they did start off hot, and then it just seemed like that was just it. You know, some people they always say we got a 12-play script for the first to start off the game, and then we go from there. And it's like you need to double that because like this is the Niners at least. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you kind of do want to put your best foot forward to see like what can y'all really do. Granted, I'm giving them a lot of grace. I'm giving a lot of teams grace. Except for a few when it comes to just being week one. But I don't know. It just is like that's putting all this on Rodgers when it comes to him being the offensive coordinator and the quarterback is a lot more than just letting Rodgers be Rodgers. Like, granted, but at the same time, Nathaniel Hackett got him 2 MVPs when he was in Green Bay. So, or he was at least in the room when that happened.
Switching gears a little bit, Nick, did you know why they took Sauce out in that drive, that long drive that they went on?
Sauce like he got banged up a little bit on some of the
trying to tackle Debo.
They said he wasn't, but they said he wasn't hurt. I don't know.
They lied.
He wasn't injured. He was hurt.
He was hurt. Exactly, 100%. I don't know if you remember the play, but Debo had caught the ball. We know what type of fucking player Debo is when he got the ball in his hand. And he went and he got hit like in his collarbone area, in his shoulder collarbone area on his left side. So bro. Hey.
The thing is that tackle damn near saved the touchdown.
It did.
Because I was looking at that replay because I was wondering, like, damn, did he hit his head or something like that? But then I see how he hit him. I was like, okay, it must be his shoulder. But then I looked at the open field. If he didn't make that tackle, Debo's taking it to 6. You know, so it was a key tackle. But now Sauce, before that, Sauce was doing this thing out there. He was when Ayuk was trying to come across the middle, he was like, nah, we ain't doing that.
But they look good.
They just had, and then on defense, to me with Robert Saleh, like I know he's coaching for his job this season. But when you have what's his name, number 44, the fullback, open on 2 seam routes, and then they hit one for the big play, it's like, all right,
said it.
They said it on the broadcast.
They said it.
But again, look,
in the telecast, they said that they was saying how he was wide open. They just ignored him. And they said that they marked that play, and they said, I guarantee you they'll come back to it. And they came right back to it. He was wide open.
Mm-hmm. But look, we also got to understand that the 49ers offensively, everybody's hot, right? Kyle Juszczyk is the best pass catching type or pass catching fullback in the whole NFL. This guy could go play tight end if you needed him to go play tight end in a pinch. So again, creativity and then knowing, oh, you left that open. Watch this. You know. Again, Kyle Shanahan is a top 3 play caller in the NFL. Andy Reid, McVay, Shanahan. Like those 3 right there, it doesn't get better than them from play design, play calling. So take it as you wish. Saleh, again, a great or a really good defensive head coach, but I don't know if he got enough sauce.
Yeah, and it's because I read through the numbers for the Jets tonight. 13 and 21 for Aaron Rodgers, 167 yards, a touchdown, and an interception off of a tip pass. Another one that got away from one of his receivers. Brees Hall, 16 carries, 54 yards. That's 3.4 yards a carry, one touchdown. He was pretty much ineffective. And Lazard, 89 yards, two touchdowns, but he had a bad drop. Garrett Wilson had a good 6 catches for 60 yards, but he was MIA. And Brees Hall, 5 catches for 39 yards, and he pretty much then. I mean, that was fairly decent. I mean, he had a good overall game, but they gotta get creative. But 167 yards ain't gonna get it done, bro. You got Lazard, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Brees Hall. You got to put numbers on the board, and I think that's gonna come down to the OC. So we'll give him a couple of weeks. And on the Niners side, I mean Mason. They ran the ball. The Niners ran the ball 38 damn times compared to the Jets 19. 28 carries for 147 damn yards. Debo had
But
8 for 23 yards and a touchdown. What you got?
Ken, you saw like they highlighted a couple of the plays, like toward the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter of the run plays, the push that the fucking 49ers got, bro. The damn linemen were 4 or 5 yards downfield. Bro, with my old 40-year-old ass, I could have been down there. I could have averaged 4 yards of carry behind that damn play call. Like, Ken, it's night and day. It's just night and day where the 49ers are offensively to where the Jets are offensively, and just in the trenches. Again, I was like, typically I don't take notes. I take my mental notes and I'll talk my stuff and react to what y'all say. But I was like, nah, let me take some actual notes, because the trenches and I know head coaches, the top tier people always talk about the trenches. That was the glaring difference in this game. Because if I just watch just the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers played a better overall game than Brock Purdy. He made throws that Brock Purdy could only dream of making. Aaron Rodgers still has that arm talent. But when we look at the creativity and also the trench play, Ken, night and day. And that's the – go ahead.
I was saying, maybe that, again, we are going to be watching this Jets team every week to see what's going on and how is his offense growing. Like, if we're starting off right here, to me, that's fine, because it's like Ken said, there were some good flashes of something here and there, but obviously it has to be by the time we get to the mid-season, bye week, close to the end of November. We need to see something way better than this, because you didn't put this team together to have a performance like that for Monday Night Football. Like, I don't know how I wish Manny was here to see how Jets fans are feeling.
Yeah,
but I know he said he ain't fucking with Robert Saleh, but we'll see.
It's not Robert Saleh's fault.
And add to your point, FIFO, when the safety leads your team in tackles with 12 tackles, you're having a bad night. There's no reason for your safety to be leading you in tackles. The Jets do have some reprieve coming though, because they play the Titans next week. They got the Patriots the week after, even though they proved to be a little formidable, but they won't sneak up on anybody else. But then you got the Broncos after that. So those are winnable games.
Well, I would say the Titans and the Patriots have good defenses. That's what I was trying to say. Like, their defenses, and they got good corners. So it's like, it'd be interesting to see again, like the Jets offense going against those defenses. Because I mean, even you saw how the Titans treated the Bears. Bears literally, the Titans literally had to give them the game.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Because on defense they was holding their own, and then obviously you see what happened with the Pats and the Bengals. But yeah, we'll see. I got a lot of faith in this Jets squad. So
why?
Because it's Mr. Rodgers. That's all it is. Man. Like, I'm telling you right now.
But this is the ultimate team, the ultimate team sport, and I don't
let them gel with the squad. Like,
here's the thing, Nick. I do like the playmakers that they have. Like, it's a little bit above adequate. You know what I'm saying? Garrett Wilson is a dog. Mike Williams, we know when he's healthy, he's a really good player, but health and availability is not on his side. Brees Hall is a really good talent, but everything else is questionable. Everything else is questionable, bro. That O-line is questionable. The OC is questionable. The creativity is questionable. Like, so that's the reason why I don't have that much faith. I have 100% faith in Aaron Rodgers to get you through the regular season. But then when we're looking at the top of the top, especially in the AFC, we're looking at the Ravens of the world. We're looking at the Bengals of the world if they get healthy. We're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs of the
They're
world.
not on their level.
But I don't think they can compete.
I was gonna say this.
That's my thing. They can't compete.
My only thing is the division. I'm not even talking about them competing for
Bro, look, I'll put it to you like this.
Like I'm focused just on the regular season and them gelling so they can win the division, which I think
They're not going to win the division. I don't think they can outgun the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins can outgun them.
From what we saw on Sunday, you ain't need a big gun.
Week one.
Hey,
And Tyreek's mind was all the way thrown off by getting, you know what I'm saying, almost locked up before the game.
You can't play both sides of Tyreek because if he for all the yards and the touchdown that he had to basically seal the deal, you can't say his mind was elsewhere.
Hey.
He knew exactly where he was at.
All I'm saying, Nick, is that when it comes down to it at the end of the season, right, when we're talking about winning the division and, you know, making a far playoff push, the continuity that the Dolphins have right now, you know what I'm saying, to me, week one puts them light years ahead of where the Jets are right now.
Well, I think with that schedule Shelton reeled off, they should win the next 4. They even got the Vikings. They should win the next 4.
Yeah, they should be favored. Yes.
So what if they go 500 or they have a losing record in the next 4?
We'll have a conversation about what's going wrong.
Yeah, it's got
these are winnable games, bro.
The interesting thing about this season, I think we are on path to have probably one of the greatest NFL seasons in a long time because we got cases for at least 8 teams to be like, you damn near on Super Bowl or bust watch, or you got to make a deep playoff run, or you have to prove that you ain't shitty no more. And somebody's going to fall. We don't know what team it's going to be because they all damn near seem like they playing each other this season. But somebody's going to fall early too. Like by week 4, we're going to have a conversation about something. We may have to have these conversations every 4 weeks. Like, all right, who are we talking about this week? Because Bengals play the Chiefs this weekend. They could be 0-2. They could be 1-1. You don't know what's going to be.
They're not going to be no 1-1. They're not going to be no 1-1.
Wait till tomorrow for my picks. But all I'm saying is that I do think that there's going to be a team that shocks us, and I think the Jets is one of them. I truly believe that. Granted, tonight doesn't prove that at all, but I do think that when we get to mid-season, we're gonna be like, all right, this is Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood when it comes to the AFC East.
It's the Great Pumpkin. They ain't coming.
And they also, it's a tough draw for the first week. They played the Super Bowl runner-up, bro. Like
on the road too.
Yeah, that's a tough ask.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, but like I said, knowing that you're playing them without Christian McCaffrey, I would have been licking my chops. I would have been thinking, okay.
They found out 5 minutes the same time we did, like 5 minutes before the kickoff. Like the game plan was like that don't really mean much. You don't know how to react to that.
Yeah.
It ain't like they said, Debo or Trent Williams is out. Then it's like, okay, now we can do some things different.
Yeah, maybe they were thinking the same thing everybody else thinking. No CMC, Purdy ain't shit. We should be able to get this one. And then they got ran over by Jordan Mason. The Niners schedule, as we get ready to close out, they have the Vikings, they have the Rams. That should be good. The Patriots and the Cardinals, which so very winnable games for them. And then they play the Seahawks right before they play the Chiefs.
Oh, they played the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
Last time they played the regular season, I think Chiefs put 44 on them.
I think so.
Something like that.
Well, I mean, like last time they played the Chiefs in the regular, not the playoffs. Playoffs is different, but now they got Xavier Worthy and shit. Hollywood probably will be back by then too. All right, we gonna see.
So they could win at least 1, 2, 3.
You said Minnesota and the Rams. Don't sleep on the Rams.
No, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. I count that as a loss. That can go either way for me.
Yeah, it could go either way.
I think that's a game. Well, Puka's out now for a little bit.
It's in LA.
Hey, but big shout out to Matt Stafford though, cause I feel like he be getting a lot of hate on this telecast. I just want to say Matt Stafford balled out that second half against them Lions.
Not enough though.
They lost.
Hey, okay, look, no, he lost. He was missing both offensive tackles plus another starting O lineman and Puka.
We ain't trying.
Like he balled for what he had. See, and this is why I can't do Nick, bro. This is why I can't do Nick right
He
here.
had a hell of a throw though, bro. In the fourth quarter when they were trying to seal the game, they were up 20-17.
You talking about to Cup? That,
Man, yeah.
When Cup did
I
the
think it was to Cup.
toe tap. Yeah, when he had the toe tap. Yeah, that was.
Where he threw it kind of sideways, and the guy was like right here, but he threw it to the spot, and the guy just ran past two defenders to the ball. I was like, shit.
Matt Stafford was balling, bro. He did everything. He did everything but win the game. I don't know what else you ask out of him outside of win the game.
How about not throw picks? that's what he threw.
He did throw a red zone pick.
Stupid dumbass red zone.
Win the game.
That's what I'm saying. People are like, when we talk about these games, let's talk about everything. Let's not just talk about how the last part of the game looked, where it was like, oh, you could tell like, it went into OT. Like, granted, I do think that whoever got the point toss was going to win the game. Like, I thought that was the seal of the once the Lions got, I was like, well, they just going to run the ball like they've been doing all game. But
I thought the Lions blew it because of that. I just didn't like those play calls when they had the ball to win the game. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I just look back that pick that he had in the red zone. I was like, oh, that's
shout out to J-Mo. This should be his breakout season. He's finally putting it together.
We'll see. Read some super chats and we'll close it out. We them boys. 49ers run game is amazing. Rodger hasn't played in a long time. Give the Jets offense time. They have a easy 4-game stretch. I agree, man. I think we'll revisit it. I think they'll be judged off of these 4 seemingly easy games because the NFL is crazy. We the boys. Purdy we get 61 million. Love got 55 off 8 good games, bro.
Thank you.
It's bruh. Not, bro. I hate even arguing about people contracts, but Purdy getting 61 million is insane.
Everybody gets the money they want, bro. When it comes to QBs, we gonna talk about it tomorrow, of course. But everybody gets the money they want.
How many years you think?
It's gonna be 4. It's gonna be 4. It's gonna be 4. They're gonna make it like
4 years, 200.
They're gonna make it it may be more than 200. Because to me, like he can go up to the 49ers like, bro, what has Dak done better than me? I've beaten Dak twice. Too.
I need to look at. I'm gonna go to Sports Track, I think, and look at their contracts to see who's coming off the books in 2 years and what positions are coming up that they can replace.
Debo's one of them, and George Kittle.
I don't know if you can replace Kittle or Debo. Kittle was blocking. I don't know if you was watching. Kittle was
100%. He's the best. He's the best like catch and blocking tight end in the game. But here's the thing. Once you pay Purdy, regardless of whatever you pay him,
somebody got to go.
Multiple people got to go.
Yeah.
Like you can't pay. Like you can't pay the rest of them.
You paying the big 3.
Yeah, man. So
yeah, your big 3 is paid.
Last one from Rayshawn. When y'all going to have a conversation about Burrow?
It's coming, Rayshawn. Rayshawn is coming.
It's gonna happen tomorrow. I'm not. Hey, look, I've been reading I looked at all the Reddit threads, and bro, can they? For somebody's, bro, this is why I'm glad I'm in my calm, mild mannered.
You can't even get it out
because I was ready to cuss everybody out. they throw soliloquies. They got books. I was talking about some. We gonna talk about it tomorrow. Please get all the hate out. I love it.
You had it.
I'm with it. Hey, look, we got a lot to talk about tomorrow.
Which is why we're here tonight. So yeah, man, we appreciate you guys hopping on. Those are our thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers Jets losing to Glock Purdy without CMC at that. So
don't do that, kid. Don't try to revision this history.
It's true. It's a fact. It's a fact, right?
It's a fact that we found out 5 minutes before the game. Ain't nobody know CMC was gonna be out.
So anyway, tune in tomorrow, man, 9 p.m. where we go over all the other games, and Spike will be on as well. And And I'll try to see what Manny has to say about this team, and maybe we can read something tomorrow. But
Man, they ain't saying a damn thing till week
man, ain't
5,
gonna
week
say
6. They got to be 4-1 for him to come out again.
yeah, so we'll holler at you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.